Hi friends, welcome to the first video of this channel. On this video, we will be transforming this little outdated, sad looking desk into something a lot more modern and fun. We will be stripping the top, we'll be removing the base and this horrible hardware, as well as having some fun with silk by Dixie Belle today. It's a great paint. So the first thing we're going to do is get started with some stripper. This is one of my favorite strippers. It works quickly. It does a great job at removing the top coat. And we want to get down to the bare wood. This desk is solid wood, which makes it a great candidate for sanding down and getting that bare wood finish that is quite popular right now. So here we go, let's get started. I find it a lot easier to get started with a stripper before sanding. It just cuts down on the sanding time. And I'm working in the back of our store, so I don't want to kick up too much dust. That's why I am going to try to remove as much of the finish with the stripper first, and then give it a good sanding. It's not as satisfying as you may have seen on YouTube. This gave me a bit of a struggle. It's a very thin jelly-like top, but we did what we could. I did end up applying the stripper twice, and then this is now time to sand. After I have neutralized the stripper with mineral spirits, it is quite stinky, so make sure you do it in a well-ventilated space. Here I started with 80 grit. The wood was quite soft, however those scratches in the front were quite deep, and I wanted to get rid of them before applying my whitewash. So I started with 80 grit and then progress through the grits to get up to 220, and you always want to end with 220 grit so that you close up the wood grain and you don't have the wood grain raise after you apply your top coat. And here you'll see in a little bit I am going to be using a whitewash, which is with water, and we run the risk of raising the wood grain if we're not careful. This is where I got really excited because I finally was able to remove this hardware, and I thought this hardware was quite large for this little desk, and I really dated the piece. I saved it because you never know, you may need it in the future. I also like to put this type of hardware in the store just in case somebody needs a replacement. So next, instead of making this a quick flip, paint and go, I decided to complicate my life and see what was hiding behind this base. I had just finished a little trunk earlier, and I have found that if I remove the base, the actual frame of the trunk created little legs. So I thought maybe I'll be lucky 2 for 2 and get the same result, which I was, but I did complicate things, and I had to take out the drill and take out all kinds of other tools to try to remove this because it wasn't as easy as it looked. And with sheer brute force, I managed to remove the base, and you can see there it did turn out to have little legs. So now I think that this desk is finally ready to get painted, and the first thing we're going to do is give it a good scrub and clean. I love using TSP Alternative by Fusion. We carry it on my website because it is a biodegradable cleaner. It is a rinse-free formula, so you do not have to wash it off once you're done, and you can see absolutely why you need to clean your pieces before painting them. Next, here's another challenge. I needed to fill in all of the holes and do a bunch of repairs. But of course, my wood putty had turned into absolute clay because we most likely didn't close the lid properly. But I was very determined to get the project done that day. And well, as much as possible, that day, and I continued to try to play with it and try to get it done. Fortunately, it was just not working. So I had to wait until the next day to fill in all the holes, as well as you can see I had to put a clamp down there. I needed to do a few more repairs to the desk to get it nice and sturdy. But here's all of the filling that I had to do with wood filler, and then gave it a good sanding. You do want to also scuff sand before you paint to give the paint something to grip, and it was quite easy to do with the orbital. I also took care of my wood filler. The orbital was great for everything that was flat, but this desk had a lot of little areas and I didn't have my surf prep in the shop, so I had to do the rest of the sanding by hand. Right, so you can see, of course, prep is what's going to take the longest, no matter what. Cleaning, scuff sanding, repairing, filling in holes. That's exactly where you spend probably 75% of your time. But you need to do those steps in order to make sure that you have a really good surface for your paint to adhere. And here I'll be using silk. This is a great all-in-one paint by Dixie Belle. It's one of my favorite blacks, and that beautiful brush together with the paint creates the ultimate brush stroke free finish. Unfortunately, this piece was that brush's swan song because I managed to leave it washed in the car. I completely forgot about it, and I had to gift myself a new brush. But all of the products that you see me use are available on my website. So here we go. You want to pour your paint out. You don't want to dip your brush straight in the container. It's best practice to try to always pour it out. And you can see that little bit of paint is actually going to cover most of this little desk. And the size of this brush actually is perfect because it really helps you, 2 brush strokes, 3 brush strokes, and you're done the whole drawer, which is really quick and amazing. And this paint levels perfectly. Here I was just showing you that you don't want to keep playing with the paint. Even if you don't get perfect coverage, leave it for the next coat. You will see amazing results, and it's better to not play with your paint too much and just paint it on. And I'll just let you enjoy a little bit of painting ASMR. I did a total of 2 coats of paint, and that's all that this needed. And next it was time to just do one quick sanding. I did have a little bit of oopsies all over the place before my whitewash, so I just wanted to clean up the edges. I didn't bother taping them, so I needed to just clean up the extra paint that I had put on the top in error. And then it was time for my whitewash. So here I'm using Dixie Belle paint, and this is my favorite color, Sawmill Gravy. It's just perfect for a whitewash. This has been my look almost all year of this whitewash top. And a black base. I've done it quite a few times now, actually, on several desks, several dressers, even on chairs. I have been repainting the old cane on cane back chairs with this color. It is by far a favorite of mine and really does a good job when it contrasts with the black. So to do the paint wash, I do it in sections, and I do it as lightly as possible. It's better to do several coats of it instead of trying to do it all at once. And basically I paint it on and then I wipe it right off. I prefer using a paint wash over a stain, especially when it's a light color, because it really does a good job of neutralizing the paint. It does a good job of neutralizing the color of the wood, because if you're using, let's say, a light stain, it will really be impacted by that yellow of the wood underneath it. So the paint wash really does a good job of neutralizing it, and it is quite fast. It's also water-based. It's not stinky. It dries quickly. I can quickly apply a top coat afterwards, and we're good to go. You do want to let it really dry between coats, because drying, it does impact the way it looks, and wet wood has one look, and then of course a dried finish will have a completely different look. So here we go. It's as easy as that. It's quick and it's quite rewarding because it does look good. And here you can see the contrast with the black. It becomes quite smart, quite modern, and quite attractive. Actually, it's very aesthetically pleasing. Next, it was time to add the hardware. I couldn't find a pencil, so I'm using this vinyl picker to mark where my holes are supposed to go. I really like this little tool. I'll have it linked below. It's great for lining up your hardware, especially when you're doing drawers, because you do want them to be in perfect line, and I've struggled quite a bit until I found this. I hope you did find this video helpful, and if you did, consider giving it a thumbs up, leaving a comment, or even subscribing to my brand new channel. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to bring you a lot more similar content, as well as if you have any questions, would love to hear from you. And here's a look at what we started with. A sad looking outdated desk with really giant hardware. It got painted, it got stripped down, it got whitewashed, and here's the final result. I hope you like it.